Welcome to Football Scientific. I'm Aaron Sauter, the professor of football science. I'm here today to talk about Week 14 of the NFL season. This is our Week 14 NFL pregame show. Boom! Ba 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 ba. That's right. Okay. So here's how it's going down today. First, we're just going to go through the announcements of injuries and who's been held out, who's going to play. Of key players that have recently been announced in the NFL. Then we're going to go through all the games, and then we're going to make some shorts about our predictions and betting guides. So this is the long form, then we'll have the short form available. Remember, I'm a writer for FootballAnalysisOne.com. Check out FootballAnalysisOne.com for my NFL articles, plus more. Also check out CFLNewsHub.com for my CFL articles with the Hamilton Tirecats, plus more. Also check out UFLNewsHub.com and make sure you check it out for the UFL for my Orlando Storm articles, plus more. All right, and then also make sure you check out W Energy. We have a link in our description, and we have our promo code Football Scientific, all caps, no space, where you can get 30% off any W Energy orders. Okay, so that's a pretty good deal. And they're a sponsor of Football Scientific, looking to help us expand into new areas. If you buy some W Energy, they'll also help us expand. We'll get a budget and stuff. Right now we have no budget, and we're not going to have a budget until I start getting paid for this thing. I'm not going to pay money for a YouTube channel. That's not smart. But if you pay for it, if someone pays for it, then I'm happy to upgrade what we're doing and do more advanced technology and stuff. Maybe some editing. I don't think so. We're punk rock. We don't do editing. Okay? All right. So that in mind, here's what it looks like. Tyler is going to give you the rundown. Once again, the rundown is that we're going to talk about NFL injuries and announcements and stuff like that. And then we're going to talk about the games and the predictions and our betting guide. Yeah. And Professor, you look real tired. I look real tired. You always look real tired. You sleep at all? And not very much. We watch a lot of film. Watch a lot of film. You know what helps you stay up when you watch a lot of film? What helped you stay up when you watch a lot of film? W Energy. Blue Ras, Purple Grape is my favorite flavor, and it helps me stay up. I'm grinding out the film work and really trying to figure out, who's going to win what game. Wow. Okay, all right, so now I have some W right here. That's great. I'm going to drink some, so I hope that'll feel better. But not jittery or angsty. Just better. Be better. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Oh, yeah. I feel better. Okay. I feel much better. I'm ready. I'm hype and ready to go. Yeah. That's how it should be. You get hype and you beat that video game where you give your predictions and you dominate. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's break it down. All right. Let's break it down. Here we go. So first, Indianapolis Colts, they have downgraded tight end Tyquan Lewis. They did this last night due to an ankle injury, so he's not going to play. The defensive end, I meant to say tight end, but defensive end Tyquan Lewis will not play, so we won't have that pass rusher to go against Jacksonville. New York Jets signed defensive back Jordan Carter, maybe filling in for Sauce Gardner, being traded away. Los Angeles Chargers running back Omarion Hampton. This is big news. It appears Omarion Hampton is going to play against the Philadelphia Eagles for the Chargers. So they'll have they're starting one of their top running backs back. Justin Herbert is in question, though. He broke his left hand last week, and he had to get surgery. And because this is not his throwing hand, they think he might be able to play, but they're not sure, and they have not committed to an answer on that. He's questionable. So we won't know really probably until that game starts. Philadelphia Eagles have ruled out offensive tackle Lane Johnson and defensive tackle Jalen Carter for Monday. That might make an impact on that game. Washington Commanders activated wide receiver Noah Brown and they released wide receiver Chris Moore. Green Bay Packers activated wide receiver Jaden Reed off the IR right in time to play the Bears. They need to win against the Bears, and they're trying to pull all the stops. Boom. Arizona Cardinals, they moved wide receiver Greg Dortch to the IR list officially, and they elevated wide receiver Trent Sheffield Sr. and wide receiver Jalen Brooks. Okay, to replace Greg. They have a bunch of injuries at wide receiver. Green Bay Packers, they claimed defensive lineman Quentin Bohanna and off waivers from Seattle, and they released wide receiver Malik Heath. So they picked up a defensive lineman who got waived by Seattle, and then they got rid of a receiver, Malik Heath. Those moves don't feel connected other than the Packers are trying to get back. Why they're doing it. Devontae Wyatt is on the IR. So now that I think about it, that's why they're doing that. They're bringing on Quentin Bohanna to rebuild their depth from losing Devontae Wyatt against the Lions, probably for the rest of the season. Maybe not the postseason, but definitely the rest of the season, the regular season. Seattle Seahawks activated safety Julian Love, and they placed defensive tackle Jaron Reed. Boom. They activated both of them. Safety Julian Love and defensive tackle Jaron Reed have been activated for the IR for the Seahawks. So they seem to they're loading up, looking to make some moves. They got to beat the Falcons today, which you think would be easy, but no NFL games are ever easy, really. Denver Broncos promoted tight end Mercedes Lewis to the active roster, so expect to see him play some. Pittsburgh Steelers say they're not going to fire head coach Mike Tomlin during the season, okay? Or they're not committing to fire him at the end of the year. But he does have an option due on his contract. They need to determine if they're going to take or not to extend his contract. And they said that they're going to take some time to think about that. So he might be done after next year. Okay, Cleveland Browns rookie defensive line Mason Graham is expected to play. Returning to the lineup. Also, the Cleveland Browns, they opened a return window for quarterback Deshaun Watson. So they say, and some people are like, are they going to play him? Did they not like Shadur Sanders at all or Dylan Gabriel? No, they're moving him into the active period, and then they're going to make a decision about next year off him if they're going to try and move him or whatever. They can't release him because they paid him a bunch of guaranteed money to get him, so they can't really release him. He's just holding a roster spot, so they're just trying to get something out of him if they can. Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver Jermaine Burton did not go to Buffalo for today's game. Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Xavier Weaver is not expected to play versus the Rams. So if he's in your fantasy lineup, make sure you check that. Okay. To clarify, Green Bay Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed is expected to play. And, Buffalo Bills tight end Dalton Kincaid has not played for the last few weeks. He has a knee and a hamstring injury. But he says he's going to play against the Bengals and do what he can. So he probably will play against the Bengals, because Buffalo really needs to win that game. And the Bengals really need to win that game. That should be an awesome game. Okay. So that is the reports and news on lineups. But then we're going to get into our predictions and betting, guys. So first, the 1 o'clock games. We have Pittsburgh Steelers at Baltimore Ravens, really battling for the top of the AFC North. The Bengals are back there trying to catch up. But one of these teams will take the lead of the AFC North. The Steelers have had the lead since the beginning of the season when Baltimore had a horrible collapse coming out of the season, man. But now the Ravens have caught up. The Steelers have caught back. They've fallen back. So now they're at the same spot. The Ravens just got whooped by the Bengals. Steelers got beat by the Bengals once too. So when they play today, it's going to be a pretty big game. Aaron Rodgers is going to play in this game. Lamar Jackson is going to play in this. I saw this is the first time Aaron Rodgers is going to face Lamar Jackson. So, that should be interesting. Okay, all right. We predict the Baltimore Ravens are going to beat the Steelers 24-21 with 45 total points being scored. DraftKings says Ravens win by 6. I see this game being closely contested because both teams, the Ravens struggle on offense, Steelers struggle on defense. Ravens struggle on defense. I think this game's going to be pretty close. I think it might be a shootout. We got to go in 24-21 because it's an NFL game, not a college game because of the time situation. They're going to run the ball more. But I say I'm going with the Steelers and the points, and the over-runner is 42.5. I'm going with the over slightly. Okay, over 45. Seattle Seahawks, Atlanta Falcons. Boom. Seattle Seahawks are fighting for the top of the NFC West. Atlanta Falcons are just fighting to not fire their coach, I guess. They lost to the Jets last week. Ouch. The Seahawks have had some struggles, especially facing pressure. So this might be a game where Sam Darnold melts, and then the Falcons have a chance to win. So, they're going to bring the pressure. They always bring lots of pressure. Okay. We predict Seattle Seahawks are going to establish a run game and protect Sam Darnold, and they're going to win 27-20 in Atlanta. We trust that so much. We're going with the money line on the Seahawks, and we're going over 44.5 points. 44.5 points is the over-under. We're going over that with 47 total points. Okay, so Seahawks. Next, Tennessee Titans at Cleveland Browns. Battle of the dumpster fires. I don't see any benefit for the Titans winning this game. Now, you can't say that out loud if you're an NFL team. That's, unethical, blah, 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 blah. But I guarantee you they don't win this game for whatever reason. Wink, 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 wink. So I got the Cleveland Browns winning this game 20-17 at home. 37 total points being scored. DraftKings says they'll win by 4. I think the Titans will keep it closer to that just for how it looks. Okay, they don't want to look like they're tanking. Well, that's a common practice in some leagues. The NFL tries to frown on tanking. All right. Because, fans hope you're trying to win every game. Miami Dolphins at New York Jets. The Dolphins are hot. The Jets are cold, but they beat the Falcons last week. The Dolphins could lose this game, honestly. But I think they're trying to make a run to the playoffs, and I think that they will put in a lot of time and effort to win this game. So I got the Dolphins beating the Jets 24-20. Devon Achane will probably go off for some big yards. Tua Tagovailoa will probably score a few touchdowns and throw some interceptions, kind of like Jameis Winston. Tua Tagovailoa kind of is like Jameis Winston. They both won a national championship. Now that I say that, maybe Tua Tagovailoa and Jameis Winston are the most similar players. Either way, I think the Dolphins win 24-20. DraftKings says they'll win by 3. I go with that. I'm agreeing. Over-under's 41.5. We're going over with 44 points. Okay. All right. New Orleans Saints at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Saints ain't got a lot going on. They showed that last week. They can be dangerous. Tampa Bay needs to win this game to stay in front of the Carolina Panthers. I'm not saying it's a must win, but Carolina's not playing this week, so they're not going to lose. If Tampa Bay loses to New Orleans, Carolina deserves the NFC South. I'll be honest with you. So I'm going to say that Tampa Bay's not going to allow it to happen. Baker Mayfield seems pretty competitive. He's not going to let the Saints knock them off the top of the NFC South. That would be embarrassing. So I have the Buccaneers winning at home 27-17. With 44 total points being scored. DraftKings says they'll own by 8.5, and I say, yep, that sounds about right. And over-under 42.5, we're going over that slightly with 44 points. Okay, all right. We'll be having some shorts on these also today. Indianapolis Colts at Jacksonville Jaguars, a direct battle for the top of the AFC South. Because the Colts have lost a few times the last few weeks, including to the Texans last week. Jaguars have won for 3 weeks in a row, despite numerous turnovers by Trevor Lawrence. They're tied at the top of the AFC South. This is a big game for the Colts and the Jaguars. This will probably determine if they're going to be playoff teams or not, honestly. I could see the Colts, if they lose this game, tanking the rest of the way. Not on purpose. They just won't be very good because they'll lose a lot of the steam they have in their sails. Jaguars, they haven't played great anyway, but they keep winning. So, they'll probably just keep doing that. They might make the playoffs anyway, not because they're a better team, just because they're more consistent. Colts are kind of up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, I really prefer consistency over up and down, me personally. Okay, so with that in mind, I got the Colts going to Jacksonville, and it's going to be rainy and weird and slippery, which should not play into the Colts' hands, but I think they're going to run Jonathan Taylor. If they don't, they're stupid. No offense. I don't like the Colts generally, so I'm willing to say they're stupid. They need to run Jonathan Taylor and use play action with Daniel Jones and let him manage the game. Jaguars need to do the same thing. Run Travis Etienne, let Trevor Lawrence manage the game. I think with that in mind, both teams are going to have to come out here and grind this out. It's going to be a defensive battle. It's going to be a grind. But I do have it going kind of high scoring for a defensive battle. I have the Colts winning 24-23 against Jacksonville. That gives us 47 total points. DraftKings says Indianapolis Colts are 1.5 point favorites. And I agree. I agree. I think they're going to win this game. Colts, Jacksonville turns the ball over way too much to win this game. Okay? The only way the Colts lose is if they come out and they fall apart. And if they fall apart, The season's about done, man. I think they'll fall out of the playoffs. But I think they'll be motivated to come out here and play well against Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence, the week last week where he had no turnovers was the anomaly. It was the week that stood out as the exception. Okay, so I think the Colts are going to win this game 24-23. DraftKings says they win by 1.5. I don't know about that, but I'm going money line on the Colts. I think they have more to lose in this. They're going to want to win this game on the road. But I don't think it's going to go to 47.5. The over is 47.5. I don't think it's going to go over that. I'm going under with 47 points. Pretty close to it. Okay. Washington Commanders at Minnesota Vikings. Okay. Once again, teams, do they need to win? I mean, if they won out, if one of these teams won out, they would probably have a chance to make the playoffs. So I guess they do have a bit of a motivating factor. If one of them can win out, they can win the playoffs. So then I ask myself, who has a better chance to win out? The Washington Commanders, if Jaden Daniels comes back, or the Minnesota Vikings with a complete mess at quarterback. J.J. McCarthy, even when he's healthy, is not good. So I'm saying Washington wins this game. They're the most likely team to win this game on the road. I think they're going to beat Minnesota 24-21. And DraftKings disagrees. They say Minnesota's going to win by 1.5. I just don't see why you would pick that. So I'm taking the Commanders and the 1.5 points. I think they're actually going to win the game. And by by 3 points. And then over-under 42.5. We're going 45. So we're going over that. Cincinnati Bengals at Buffalo Bills. This is a big game for the wild card picture and for the Bengals. Bengals need to win out to make the playoffs. They lose this game, it's over, Rover. It's done. I'm not saying officially. I'm just saying essentially it's done. Okay? Buffalo, they lose to the Bengals. You know, they came in as a Super Bowl favorite. They came in as the kings of the AFC East. They're chasing the Patriots right now. And as an old school Buffalo Bills fan, I like the Bengals. Season ticket holder to the Bengals for a while. But I really love Buffalo. Okay? But Buffalo always breaks my heart. And this is one of those situations, man. Buffalo cannot accept losing this game. The Bengals fans are used to seeing the Bengals lose. No problem. Okay? But Buffalo fans expected the Bills to be really good this year. And they've been slightly above average, which is disappointing. Okay? If they lose to the Bengals, I could see the bottom drop out of this thing, man, for the Bills. Because that's crazy. The Bengals don't even have a great running game. There's no way they should win this game. But I have the Bengals upsetting the Buffalo Bills because they were going to make a run to the playoffs potentially. I have the Bengals winning 30-27. 57 total points. I think Joe Burrow's about to go off with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I think that they finally have all their weapons back. I think they're going to win this game, and that's going to be real sad for Buffalo. It's going to be real sad for Buffalo. 30-27 Bengals. DraftKings says Buffalo wins by 5.5. I could see that, but I could also see them not winning. Over under 53.5. We set to on 57. We're going over, and we're taking the Bengals into 5.5 points. So we're taking Bengals into 5.5 points. We're taking over 53.5. That's it for the early games today. Then we got three late afternoon slot games. We got Denver Broncos at Las Vegas Raiders. Denver has a chance. They can't clinch the playoffs today, but they can clinch a lead in a tiebreaker over the New England Patriots because the Patriots lost to the Raiders, which is hard to imagine. You know, the Patriots are like the hottest team in the NFL right now, 10 straight wins, and they lost to the Raiders, who are horrible. But the Raiders didn't know they were horrible yet. You know, that's the thing. So if Denver wins, they got the tiebreaker over New England if they ended up tied at the top. This is a must-win game for Denver. You can't be taken seriously as a AFC contender if you lose to the Raiders at this point in time. Okay, I don't think the Patriots are going to win the AFC because they lost to the dang Raiders. Okay, Denver is going to beat the Raiders, I believe. But if they don't, they're not a real contender. They're a pretender. Okay. So, we predict Denver's going to come into Las Vegas and win 24-17. Total points will be 41. DraftKings says Denver wins by 7.5. I think the Raiders will cover. I think the Raiders, they hate the Broncos. In case you don't know, it's a big rivalry. It used to be a real big rivalry until the Raiders, have trashed out. So I think the Raiders will want to make life difficult for the Broncos. So I think they'll keep it close. They'll try to win this game. So I'm taking the Raiders and the 7.5 points. And the over-under is 40.5. We're going over that. Okay. Chicago Bears at Green Bay Packers. A battle for the NFC North. It'll be a pretty exciting game for the NFC North. We predict it's going to be a hard-fought game. We predict the Packers win this game in Green Bay, 27-21, 48 total points. And that's not a popular pick. Everyone thinks the Bears are going to win, okay? Because the Bears beat the Eagles. But they have weaknesses that have not been addressed, including Caleb Williams. And I think when they bring the pressure with Michael Parsons, he's going to melt and he's going to throw interceptions. And the Packers will win 27-21. DraftKings says Packers win by 6.5. I say not so fast, my friend. I think the Bears do expect to win this game and will make it tough on the Packers. So I'm taking the Bears and the points. And the over is 44.5. We're taking the over with 48 points. Okay, Los Angeles Rams at Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are all beat up, man. All beat up. And they're on a losing streak, and they keep making key mistakes, even though Jacoby Brissett is a good stat collector. He's not a good wing collector, okay? So Los Angeles Rams at Arizona Cardinals. Rams did get upset by Carolina last week, but it's because they turned the ball over a bunch. So I think the Rams will come and play more careful. They don't want to lose this game. It's a division game. And that would really set up the Seahawks to overtake them once again. So I think that would eliminate their win over the Seahawks if they lose to the Cardinals. I don't think they're going to let that happen. I think Rams win 31-21, 52 total points being scored in the game. DraftKings says they'll win by 8.5. I agree. I think I'm taking the Rams with the money line, and over-under is 47.5. We're taking the over with 52 points. Okay? And then we have our two late games. Well, we have a late game tonight and a late game tomorrow. Two late games. I wasn't wrong. It was just misleading. So tonight, Sunday Night Football, we got Houston Texans at Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams are in need of a win. This is basically a wild card playoff game. Chiefs need to win. Texans need to win. Chiefs got a much better offense than the Texans right now, even with C.J. Stroud back. They both have solid defense. I mean, Texans' defense is really good, but the Chiefs' defense is pretty, top 5, too. They're really good. I think they'll cancel each other out, and I think the Chiefs' offense will put them over the top. So I say Chiefs win this game 24-20, 44 total points being scored. DraftKings says Chiefs win by 3.5, so I'm going money line on the Chiefs, and over-under 41.5. We're going over 44. Monday Night Football, Week 14. We got Philadelphia Eagles at LA Chargers. Eagles are spiraling. Chargers have kind of hung around. This is a big game, though, because the Chargers need to win to have a chance to go into the stay in their wild card race. Buffalo needs to win it, and they have the Chargers to lose. So there's a lot of attention on this game. Chargers need to win this game. Eagles probably would really need to win this game, except Dallas got beat by Detroit. So that keeps their cushion. I think whether the Eagles turn things around or not, they're going to win the NFC East. That's my feeling. Because the NFC East is not good. And while the Eagles have not played well recently, I think the Cowboys are not good enough to overtake them. So I think the Chargers will win this game, and I think the Eagles will take another loss, but the Eagles will think they have time to turn it around, which they do. Okay, because they got some room for margin for error. I think in LA, Chargers win this game 24-21, 45 total points being scored. Eagles are 3-point favorites according to DraftKings. I'm taking the Chargers and the points, though. I think they'll win the game. And over-under is 41.5, and we're going over with 45 points. So that is our predictions and betting guide. Check that out. We'll be making shorts on these, trying mass market what we're doing. Remember, check out footballanalysis1.com. Read my articles about the NFL there, my power rankings. Show a lot of insight going into this week's games. There's also predictions and there's fantasy stuff. There's other writers there too. Check out CFLNewsHub.com. Even though it's the CFL off season, it's still fun to keep up with the hot stove league of the CFL. And then we have the UFL news hub, and really not a lot's happening there. It will start happening in January, so you probably could check that out a little bit, but it'll really start really blossoming in January. Okay. All right, so that's the deal. And remember, W Energy Drink is our sponsor. Boop. If we get enough support, they're going to give us a chance to make our own energy drink, which would be cool, our own flavor. And I think that would be awesome if Football Scientific can go from being, a nobody punk rock thing, and then we can get our own energy drink for a company no one's heard of. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of W Energy, but it's decent drinks, man. And for a pretty low price compared to the competitors. So, I recommend it, but I like caffeine. It's good. It's good. I don't sleep that much. Like Tyler the Tiger says, I look tired most of the time. So that's the deal. All right? A lot of film work. So that is Football Scientific for today. That's our NFL preview for Week 14. Check it out, and check out our shorts here in just a little bit. Okay? All right. We're closing the Football Scientific portal for today. Let's enjoy the NFL.